streaming.
Hi everyone, how are you today? Good to see you. Sorry that I'm so late this morning. A little discombobulated, y'all. I was confused with I had I had social studies and science mixed up, so I wanted to stay on schedule. And we're going to do a quick science lesson today. It is about global warming. And this section asks, and this is a big task section that we look at global climate models and data to make a forecast of the current rate of global or regional climate change and associated future impacts to the earth. So we've talked a little bit about it up to this point. We're going to dig in a little more. This is a high emphasis on the task exam so that you know basically um, how it happens, what's affected, and what we're trying to do, as they said, on a local and a regional and global level. We've seen some effects in our area with flooding on the lake, particularly a couple years ago, really, really bad flooding. And I don't know if you've noticed, but where our winters are milder and milder all the time. I grew up here or came here when I was 8, little kid, and the snow used to be, I'm telling you, you remember that thigh high, hip high snow trudging through that. There's definitely an impact. And the thing is, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, they're more frequent, they're worse, and we are really going to be impacted in a way we can't even imagine. So, this is an important issue to all of our lives. Um, when I lived in New Jersey, they talked about the fact they did have one really bad hurricane go all the way up, and they were saying if it was the most powerful hurricane and it struck Newark, New Jersey, it would be underwater. And the bad part of that is when you call for people to evacuate, and we don't all have the same means, we don't always all have the same pocketbook. How do you get in a car and where do you go? So these things are serious and we need to be concerned and show concern. So, global warming, let's take a look. Is the earth really fragile? So, maybe not the entire planet, and we've got a little sticker on the globe here, handle with care, fragile, thank you. So maybe not the planet, but what about the ecosystems? All of the different systems, all the little mini ecologies or life systems on this planet. It may soon be hard to argue that global change does not exist. Global change can definitely be seen in numerous ecosystems already. Global climate change. Another major problem caused by air pollution is global climate change. Gases such as carbon dioxide from the burning of fossil fuels, coal, oil, natural gas, uh, they increase the natural greenhouse effect, and that raises the temperature of the Earth's surface. So, what is the greenhouse effect? Put this one in your memory bank. The greenhouse effect, it's a natural feature of the Earth's atmosphere, and it occurs when gases in the atmosphere radiate the sun's heat, magnify it, send it back down to the Earth's surface. Otherwise, the heat would just go back out to space, and so it penetrates the Earth's atmosphere. Without the greenhouse effect, the Earth's surface temperature would be far cooler than it is. In fact, it would be too cold to support our life as we know it, our lives and that of other animals on this earth. So here you go with solar radiation. Some is reflected and bounces back out to space, but most of it is absorbed into the Earth's surface and warms it. So some of this infrared radiation passes back out through the atmosphere, but some is absorbed and remitted in all directions by the greenhouse gas molecules. And the effect of this is to warm the Earth's surface and the lower atmosphere where we are. And then there is some infrared radiation, as you can see, emitted by the surface. So again, as I set this out of sequence, some goes back out into space and some is absorbed into the Earth. So if we look at the greenhouse effect without greenhouse gases, most of the sun's energy is radiated from the Earth's surface back out into space. Global warming. Global warming, learn this one, refers to a recent increase in the Earth's average surface temperature. Let's look at our figure. During the past century, the temperature has risen about 1 degree Celsius or 1.3 degrees Fahrenheit. And 1 degree doesn't seem like a lot, but just consider that 10 degrees Celsius is the difference between an ice-free and an ice-covered Earth. So, looking at our graph, we always want to look at what we're talking about. And this is global temperature measured at meteorological stations, at weather stations. And then we're looking at changes or unusual changes. And over time, over the past, how many? 200 years, 1880, 150 years about. And we have an annual average, okay, from year to year. And then we've got a 5-year running average. And what is it doing? It looks like it's increasing more sharply than an annual average. It's normal to have peaks and valleys in our temperature, summer and winter, correct? But look at the temperature if we were to just take this line and draw it. That is a pretty sharp increase, right? So most scientists agree that global warming, and this is over the past 100 years that we've seen it rise, and most scientists agree that it is caused by more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We've talked about that, right? This increases the greenhouse effect. There's more carbon dioxide mainly because of the burning of fossil fuels. Destroying forests is another cause. And what do forests do? They give off oxygen, right, that we breathe in, and we release carbon dioxide, but they also clean the air. So less carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere through photosynthesis. We've talked about photosynthesis, and that is, again, this gives us a little, you don't remember, it's how plants use sunlight to produce sugars in the forms of food, right, which is stored within the plant. And plants take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen. Let me go back. This is it. All right. Girl, focus. Who are these people bothering me? All right. So let's look at this. This is atmospheric carbon dioxide measured at Mauna Loa, that is in Hawaii. And this graph is showing the recent trend in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and in the concentration of carbon dioxide. And this is from 1950 to 2010. Pretty straight line. There, however, was an anomaly or something strange that took place in 2008 with the cycle. As you can see, that big dip increase and then sharp dip. But it's pretty steady. It's almost a 45-degree angle, right? So the effects of climate change. Some of it includes a decline in cold adapted species such as polar bears. Those of us who have grown up with them, have them in our lifetime, may not see them as we decline, or children or grandchildren may not see them at all. They'll be something that they read about in books. The melting of glaciers, which rises the sea levels, coastal flooding and shoreline erosion. We have that here. Heat-related human health problems, more droughts and water shortages, which we see on the West Coast already quite frequently. Changing patterns of precipitation, rain and snow. And what? How do we get more snow with climate change? Everything becomes more severe, more heightened, increasing severity of storms and major crop losses. Wow. California right now is at the tipping point. It's being affected in uh, dramatic and subtle ways. In 2008, as you could see that we saw that big increase and then the dip. California's increased by more than 2.1 degrees during the last century, they found. And what's more, the data show that human activity played a significant role in the climate change. So what's just 2 degrees? But as the science shows, it is very significant. For starters, a declining mountain snowpack and prolonged drought conditions poses a threat to limited water. Most of Southern California is the desert. Heat waves are projected to be longer, bringing increased danger from wildfires and heat-related deaths. Rising sea levels due to temperature shifts jeopardize life in coastal areas for human and plants and animals that rely on intertidal and rich wetland ecosystems. And also, more precipitation is expected to fall as rain rather than snow because of the warmth and the temperature, thereby increasing the risk of floods. And as the heat increases, the formation of smog and poor air quality could get even worse. So, how is the economy affected in California? Shorter ski seasons and damage to marine ecosystems mean a reduction in tourism. People come for the beach, for the water, for the mountains, to ski, to swim, to fish. Water shortages mean issues with commercial and recreation fishing, and higher temperatures will affect crop growth and quality, weakening the agricultural industry, just to name a few of the economic issues associated with climate change. The composition of the seawater is also changing too. It is becoming more acidic, which can kill coral reefs and salmon, entire marine food webs. So, yeah, that affects us. The coral reefs that you may have seen in, where's the great coral reef? It's not coming to my mind, but they are dying. So, what do we need to do? Reduce global warming mainly by energy use, using less energy, driving more fuel efficient cars, using energy sources that produce less carbon dioxide, such as solar and wind. We also talked about nuclear as an option if we can be assured that it's safe. At the same time, we can increase the amount of carbon dioxide that is removed from the air. We can stop destroying trees and plant new ones. So, in summary, gases such as carbon dioxide from the burning of fossil fuels increase the natural greenhouse effect. And remember, on its own, the greenhouse effect is what gives us life on this planet. But when it's increased, it raises the temperature of the Earth's surface and is called global warming. So, review. How does air pollution contribute to global warming? We just said it in the summary, right? What is the greenhouse effect? Well, the greenhouse effect is the normal absorption of the sun's radiating heat into the atmosphere, right? It has increased the amount that is absorbed by the chemicals we release into the air. And so, what are 3 effects of global warming? We're losing certain animals through the heating of the water and the melting of the glacial ice. We're having crops affected. People have less water to drink. That is our review. What do I want from you? I want you to take a look at this global warming practice. I'm going to assign that to you all, and that's your little practice for yourselves. If you do it, it's of a benefit to you. As I said, this is a big section on the task test. That's all we have for science. That's all we have for today. Everyone, be well. Take care.